Some 800,000 American government employees will receive some paychecks in a couple of weeks after the U.S. government put a temporary halt to its partial shutdown. But could financial technology have been the answer to ensuring that workers don't go weeks without pay? For more, we've got Zayzoon's Tate Hackert. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
And so let's start with what Zayzoon does, because you could be a solution in this situation where there's a gap between the paycheck arriving and the need to be paid. What does Zayzoon do?
Yeah, so that's exactly what we are. We give employees an opportunity to access their wages kind of intra-pay cycle and really speed up that payroll cycle for them by way of partnerships with their employers and payroll service providers.
So one of the things that I really like about your service, I'll be totally upfront and honest about this, is that it kind of disrupts the payday loan business. People that need a short-term bridge loan, it's a bit of an emergency. Instead of going to a place that will kind of hook them into these high fee loans over the long term, they can actually borrow from their future self.
Yeah, totally. They're simply accessing the wages they've earned but haven't yet been paid for. So that was really why we were created, was to disrupt the payday lending space, the overdraft space, and give employees a way to access those wages and unlock those hours.
So how many employers take advantage of this to offer? Because this is a service an employer could offer their employees, right, if they sign up?
Absolutely. So in the States and Canada, we have over 10,000 employers currently using us, well over 1 million employees currently accessible by our service.
And what's the typical use? Why do employees use the service mostly?
Yeah. So lots of it is just necessities. Lots of it is because their paycheck lands on the 15th, but they have a cell phone bill on the 13th and a car payment on the 12th, and their paychecks just aren't quite lining up with their bills. And so really we're just allowing them to access that cash flow.
And obviously, increasingly, people probably want to be paid in real time, right? Day by day, hour by hour. I don't know how it would be possible. Do you close that gap? Do you make it easier for employers to offer pay that more close? Because I'm thinking of all the people that work more than one job. It's sort of the gig economy philosophy of, I want to be paid for the work I've just done. I don't want to wait 2 weeks. Yeah,
certainly. So exactly what we're doing. In the United States, we can push funds in an instant. So really give employees access to those wages right away. It's a simple 3-step process. They log in, they see how much hours they have available, and they click, confirm, and they get those funds. And those funds are dispersed almost instantly to their bank account. In Canada, we utilize the Interact network. So as I'm sure you're familiar with, Interact is near instant as well. So it definitely helps bridge that gap for them.
You are a fintech startup. When did you launch? How long have you been around?
So we've been around since 2015.
Okay.
And really kind of in earnest the last couple of years here, specifically in North America. And
from what I understand, you are pushing into that U.S. market fairly aggressively. What's the difference between the two markets? Why there instead of Canada, or why they're faster than Canada? Yeah. So we did start in Canada. And then quickly realized that to build a big fintech, we would need to move to the United States, unfortunately. We would love to support Canadian fintech, and we still do by way of obviously creating jobs and whatnot, but the States has just been amazing for growth for us, and really just adoption of a new technology and a new idea. And I was just talking, of course, to PwC about open banking and sort of the level of cooperation the banks can pursue with other financial services companies. You would think in a small market like this one, it might be easier to get new innovations in. Is it in some ways harder, or is there kind of what's the difference, I guess, between the two markets? Yeah, it's interesting. So I think they're big institutions here, where in the United States you have a lot of little credit unions that you can go after and partner with there. Specific to our business, we're integrating with payroll providers, right, and employers, and in the United States they're just a lot more amiable to our service. I don't know if it's as much as a banking issue as it is just a enterprise sales issue. So in internal culture, or just the literal ability to reach outward? Internal culture, I would say. Canadian business owners are never in trouble for saying no, or kind of being stale with things, where in the United States they're constantly looking to innovate. And what's more innovative than providing employees a way to access their wages when they want? How competitive is the space? Who else does this? Yeah, so it's starting to get competitive in a very good way. Walmart recently introduced a way for employees to get paid early, which was great for us. It obviously provided some credibility to the space and to a new space.
We have a few competitors in the United States, definitely none up here in Canada that I'm aware of.
What does it take for a big company like that to offer this service? And did they have to figure out how to write their own software internally to make the back end work?
Yeah, so Walmart specifically partnered with one of our competitors that had been in operations in the States kind of since inception of us as well, about 2015. But yeah, lots of partnerships, lots of enterprise sales, lots of grinding, and ultimately just willing to innovate.
Well, here's hoping the government doesn't shut down again. But if it does, you could be a solution to some of those employees?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate event, but we saw it as a way that we could really outline this pay-on-demand space.
Great to have you here, Tate.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda.
Tate Hackert is founder and president of ZayZoon.